the best investment is the networking. So I work at Rutgers and we run a leadership coaching program, and the network of those coaches and my ICF coaches, invaluable. I'm on the committee for ICF New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic networking and just helping other people. You're helping your coaches and they're helping their clients. So you're planting seeds of service all throughout. That's probably the best investment. I just invest in that one area. I haven't yet made that.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Career Coaching Secrets podcast. I'm your host Rexhen, and today's guest is Dana Bernstein, a conflict resolution coach, keynote speaker, and the author of It's the Thought That Counts, Mastering the Art of You versus You, a guide to transforming internal conflict into clarity, resilience, and empowered decision-making. With over 2,200 coaching hours and a background spanning leadership development, negotiation, and project management, Dana helps individuals drop the jackets of judgment and reclaim their inner voice so they can respond, not react, from their best selves. As a professional certified coach with credentials in project management and positive intelligence, Dana weaves deep emotional insight with practical tools to help her clients navigate both the external and internal conflicts that hold them back. And it's a pleasure for me to have her on the podcast today. Welcome to the show, Dana.
Thank you.
When it comes to how you started your coaching business, what actually inspired you to become a coach and then start your coaching business?
My boss actually recommended that I do the coaching program, and it wasn't on my radar, but he saw that I liked helping people. He saw that I am good with managing conflict, and he recommended our program.
Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to the program, and actually we'll dive into that, when thinking about your time working with your clients, going through them in their coaching journey, which part of it would you find the most rewarding since you started doing this?
Definitely when they find their internal self. So my book and how I coach is all about finding that internal self and using that self as they navigate conflict, manage challenges, all of that. And when they start putting the words to who they are at their essence, at their core, it's just beauty. They start dropping like everything that doesn't belong to them. And they're like, wow, I've always been about community or fierceness or whichever it is. And now I have a word to hold on to. So that is the most exciting part, is when they rediscover themselves.
How would you describe the clients that you work with, or like the ideal client profile? Are they of certain industry, certain demographic? How would you describe them? Certain goals?
No, just anyone who wants to think deeper, realize who they are, what's stopping them, and want to make progress in their life. So men, women, any age, any industry. Conflict happens to all of us.
Absolutely. And so it's not just conflict within the professional setting or within workplaces.
It's all internal conflict. It's a construct. So how you think about a situation is what makes it a conflict. And when people realize that they have the power to rethink things and use their best self while they're solving the thing, it's beauty. It's great.
So for anyone who's listening and wants to dive into this and actually take part into this, how would you explain the engagement between a client and you? Is there a certain program or a certain length? How does that work for them?
It's just regular coaching calls, and we use the exercises from my book, It's the Thought That Counts. And anyone, I would love for other coaches to also use that, because we are trained to coach to who the person is. And this book gets into that. The coaching engagements are either 30 minutes or an hour. And when you start figuring out that internal stuff, then we proceed with regular coaching and start solving the challenges that the client has.
And and this is a question that actually mostly coaches will benefit from, where do you find your clients, or like, in terms of marketing channels, what is working best for you?
There's a few things. I'm with a few aggregates, so there's that one piece that makes it a little bit easier. But it's also word of mouth. So I have built up a wonderful community of coaches, and we recommend each other depending on which client needs what. And having a network of coaches is probably the best investment you can ever make. Getting involved in your local ICF chapter or going to different events where there's coaches.
I actually feel the same way. So I'm not a coach myself, obviously, but from the interviews that I've done, I've learned that within coaches themselves, there's no, it's always collaboration, is not competition. So I feel like there's always like, maybe you're not always fit for the client that you're working with. There could be another coach that is a better fit within your network that you could refer to, or maybe other coaches could refer clients to you, which makes absolute sense.
Yeah, the goal is always to serve the client. So you
Mhm.
want them to be the best self. And if you're not the person for them, then there's always others that can help. So if you're focused always on the client and what their needs are, you'll end up in the right spot.
Absolutely. So right now, looking to the future, do you have any specific goals with your coaching business for the next 1 to 3 years?
Yes, I have just decided that I think I'm going to scale the book a little bit and make mini courses out of it. So
Mhm.
people, coaches or others, can start identifying their internal identity and their values, what they feel, what they stops them, and make mini courses. So that's the 1 to 3 year plan.
So when you say scale the book, did I hear that correctly?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So basically, you want to have more people get access to the book, but also have courses. Are the courses going to be within the book that they can access when they're reading?
absolutely. It's going to be a supplemental guide so they could read the book and or take the course
Hmm.
and start learning how to use this assessment. I call it the Who assessment. They can use the Who assessment with their clients and get a lot of great data about the client, and also the client gets about themselves.
And I also wanted to touch a little bit on investments. Throughout your experience as a coach, what would you say have been some good investments that you've made, either on yourself or your coaching business, that you feel like those are actually good investments? And if any, what have been some investments that are maybe not so good investments, or you could have avoided them?
The best investment is the networking. So I work at Rutgers and we run a leadership coaching program. And the network of those coaches and my ICF coaches, invaluable. I'm on the committee for ICF New Jersey.
Hmm.
Fantastic networking and just helping other people. You're helping your coaches and they're helping their clients. So you're planting seeds of service all throughout. That's probably the best investment. I just invest in that one area. I haven't yet made bad investments because it's investing in people.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I totally agree. And it has been the case actually with most coaches. But when you say investing in actually having this community, is it mostly basically building it out, reaching out to other coaches, creating that connection, networking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And introducing other coaches to other coaches. So
Hmm.
making sure people are in different industries that I know, I put them together. So it's expanding a community of helpers.
And think about your goal with growing the book and having the course as well. What would you say is a challenge for you that you're trying to solve for next? Where is the bottleneck right now?
Bottleneck is the starting piece. It's always the first step is, okay, how do I do this? Do I go slow? Do I go fast? What do I want it to look like? So it's a matter of just slowing myself down and thinking about what would be the end result and
Hmm.
start planning towards that and adjusting along the way. So, first steps.
Cool. Thank you. And when it comes to the other coaches that are trying to do the same thing, and this goes to that final question, what advice would you give to other coaches who are looking to scale their impact just like you are?
Lean on your network, trust your instinct. That's really big. You're a coach for a reason. When you quiet all that outside noise and all the judgment from yourself and others, just trust your gut. You've come this far, you've made a great life for yourself. This is just the next step to wherever you want to go.
How would you explain the exercise for anyone that's listening that have not had access yet to the book but wants to know how that works?
You could look at looking for your values, you could look at it two ways. You could look at it as when you were most proud of yourself, and we could pull the values out of that because values are only you only have a goal that aligns with your values. You never do anything that's against your values when it comes to goals and aspirations and how you do something. We could also look at values as why do you get upset? So tell me one or two reasons why you get upset real quick.
The reason why I would get upset is generally when I feel like I could be doing more than I'm doing. Or
Okay.
when I kind of feel like I could be offering more than I'm offering from myself, or let's say self-evaluation, I tend to over criticize myself a little bit.
How's that working for you?
Well, if it's affecting me a little bit, I don't think it's working that well. But I would say that I often find it a little bit difficult to fully have that self-acceptance. But yeah, that is sometimes a challenge.
So what would your life look like if you totally accepted who you were and who you weren't?
If I totally accepted who I was and who I wasn't,
Mm-hmm.
it would just feel peaceful internally.
Bingo. And that's the clarity that you get. So you mentioned a few things of why you get upset, and this is a snapshot. Something around action, something around perseverance, something around excellence. And I'm not sure if those are drivers or not. What do you think?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again? I think I lost it for a second.
Something around either action or perseverance. And when you don't act, you get upset. So is it something around you
It's
need
action.
to persevere? It's action. And what about excellence? It needs to be at that level.
Sometimes it needs to be at that level. Not always, I would say, but
Do you get upset when it's not at that level?
when I expect it to be that at that level, it kind of gets upset when it's not at that level. Sometimes I put the expectation before, but it's not with every action, it's just with certain things.
Yeah. And what else upsets you going through your values? So far as action, excellent, inaction, but we'll label it as positive, excellence. Honesty, integrity, transparency.
I feel like the stress for me, if we can say that stress is one of the things that upsets me, or like when I get stressful is because it's the lack of maybe doing something that I feel I have some control over, and not taking action on that could be stressful sometimes, or not being able to take action on something that I have some control over.
So is independence a value
Yes.
or self-reliance, something around there?
Yes.
Which one or both?
Both. Sorry, I don't know if I'm making this difficult or not.
You are absolutely not making this difficult. Finding values amongst all the options it gets sloppy until you understand, like, wow, my excellence value was hit, or something dinged my independence. Some of my clients have independence and self-reliance together. For me, they're separate, just like you. I think they're totally different things. Anything else bother you, make you apoplectic, just give you a little wave of upsetness?
There could be stuff, but not that I can think of right now, to be honest.
Okay, so the exercise between now and the next time we talk is to get angry about something. Just notice it.
Yeah, that
And
more
Coach says so.
self-awareness around it, yeah.
So every time you get upset, you can pinpoint the one of those four, the either action, excellence, independence, or self-reliance, as being one of the reasons why you're feeling the way that you do. And the idea is pick another value to lead with. When excellence is leading the way and maybe you're procrastinating a little bit because it has to be excellent and I can't start unless it's excellent, maybe start with the value of action and put that in the driver's seat. So if action and excellence are fighting each other, that's going to make it indecisive. But I want to start, but it has to be really good. But I want to start.
Wow, that's so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
And then we would do your pillars, which are you as your natural, best, phenomenal, easygoing self. We map out those words. And then you have a bucket of words to use when you're having an issue. When do I put on my pillar of whatever? So I'll explain an outside and inside. Everything that I coach is an outside versus inside. Externally, I am wife, mother, daughter, brown hair going white, outside stuff, worker of some sort. But inside, who I am is community, passion, laughter, and peace. So when I'm facing an issue, sometimes I say, okay, what is community, Dana? What would she say about this thing? Or what would my peaceful me say? And I would wear these jackets just to make some choices. And it's always in alignment. These choices are always in alignment with who I am as a person. I'm never going to be not my me. But because I know my me so well, I can use the words with intention.
Cool, amazing.
Okay, so your pillars are you as your best self. So think of a time when you were the happiest ever. Name a time and a place.
The happiest ever.
It could be a childhood thing or an adulthood thing.
I would say the happiest ever. You won the place, and okay. So this is gonna be a little bit cheesy, but I would say the place would be in Tuscany, in Italy, with my friends, with my girlfriend and their friends, just a group of people having fun. I feel like we connected very well.
So if you had to explain that guy, I was writing down a few words. If you had to explain that guy, the inside guy, what would it be? What are some of the words?
Explain in what
Just the words. Who you were being in that moment. I wrote down connection, fun, laughter, but I don't know.
Yeah, all of those three. Yeah, connection, fun, laughter, joy. I would say adventure, sense of community, pretty
Yeah.
much.
So when you're having an issue or having to have a difficult conversation, if you wore the jacket of connection, what would that say? How would you approach the conversation if you were so connected with yourself, so connected with the person that you need to have a difficult conversation with? And when you're not sure of the next step, what if you put your adventure jacket on?
I would just have a lot of courage to do so. I would not, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this is how it works. So you're never going against your grain. So if there was someone who I was coaching that didn't have an adventure value or pillar, whichever bucket it landed in, they would not be using adventure as their natural self to jump in. But I have a value of adventure. You have adventure on your list. We would probably hop in. We'd hop out of an airplane. We would figure it out because that's just innately us. We don't go against our own grain. So someone who doesn't have that, that wouldn't be their go-to. They would have to look at their words as their go-to.
Wow, you're definitely making me think a lot. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing all of this. So this is the pillars, and
So pillars and values are different. So values are when you get upset. That something is when you're frustrated, when you're upset, when there's any kind of emotion in that arena. It's usually a value that's getting hit because you think the world should be this way, and when it's not, it's a something. Your pillars are just you as your natural self. You don't care if others are like that. Do you care if someone has laughter, fun, connection? Does that bother you if someone doesn't feel connected to people, or is that just a you thing?
no, yeah, it doesn't bother me if others don't. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why it's a pillar. So it's still a part of you. It's just not the part that you get angry over. But say you hadn't felt connected to your friends in a while, how would you feel?
If I hadn't felt connected to my friends in a while, how would I feel? Well, I would be missing that pillar, I guess. It would just feel maybe a little bit lonely,
Yeah, it'd be weird not being you.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're just a shell of yourself. You ever wake up and just feel so like, I'm just not feeling myself today? That's when you look at your pillars and say, maybe I should dial up connection, or maybe I need a little adventure to get myself going. But you know the words that will give you the energy. So pillars are something that will bring you energy, bring you back to life when you're feeling not like, oh, I'm just not feeling myself today. Like I wasn't laughing. Writing the book was a very long process. And there were 3 years where I was just like head down, working, working, working. And I realized the other day I was out 4th of July with my girlfriends and my husband, and I was laughing. And I hadn't done that in a while. And that's just not me. Like I'm normally one of these people that likes to laugh, make people laugh. Nothing. And I was like, holy cow, that's what's been missing. Like I haven't been my me. But I was able to pinpoint it and say, now I have to do something about it.
So would you say that the importance is always being self-aware of, like, if I had to visualize this, I don't know if you're aware of a game called The Sims?
No.
No, okay.
SIMS?
So it's basically a game where the character you're playing, you design their life, you design their house, the place they live in, and they have all of these. You see in percentages the needs that they have. They need to shower, they need to socialize, they need to eat, they need to go to work, and there's a percentage of those, and then they run out and just like continuously need to fill those percentages. Would you say that in the same way you need to check your pillars and values and make sure that they have been taken care of,
That's
but just
perfect.
like visualizing it?
That's exactly it. Because when you're not being yourself, look at those words. So here's another one. What do you want to feel every single day? Your ideal emotion.
The ideal emotion, excited.
You can have two if you want.
I can have two. Excited, maybe joyful. Those two.
Okay. At what level? So level 1 to 10, 10 being the most, what is a realistic number that you want to feel excited or joyful?
I would say from 1 to 10, maybe 6, just above the average. I would say above average.
Okay. So every time you are not feeling a 6, look at your values and your pillars and see what needs to be dialed up.
Interesting. So just look at those, because it's hard to visualize, but if you just keep the words in mind, then it gets easier.
Yep. You can put on a little sticky note, but when you're tracking at a 5, what do you need to do to get from a 5 to a 5.5 or a 5 to a 6? And not all days are going to be a 6. They're going to be crappy days, and that's normal. But on an average day, if you're not feeling like yourself, look at the words,
And
like the
see
Sims character.
Yeah, so question for you as I'm thinking about this. You look at the words. What if you cannot identify which is missing? You just go and test and see what works?
It's a self-exploration. This is just a moment in time. So look when you get angry. What do you need to add to the list? Can you synthesize it to a word and add that word to the list of values? Same thing with your pillars. Next time you're out with your friends in Tuscany or wherever, who is that guy that shows up? What is he all about? And as soon as you're living that best self, try to pinpoint those words.
Cool.
All these exercises are in the book. So this is, I don't know, you can't really see the book, but you will see that you will go through the exercises in the book, and each chapter has a ton of them. And you're unraveling yourself a little bit in chapter 4, but then going forward, you're unraveling conflict. And to solve conflict, you want to solve the conflict and be your best self at the same time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dana. For anyone who wants to connect with you or reach out to you, they can go into LinkedIn and look Lynn Bernstein. There's also danalynnbernstein.com, which is the website. Is there any other place that you'd like people to go to in order for them to find you?
That's it. Those are the main locations. We'll connect through there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dana. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.